Today we're going to take a look at the trim functionality of Workshop Buddy. Let's take this simple example. You've got a couple of rectangular parts and you'd like to apply some trim to the left and right dimensions. Let's see how this is done. Open up the inputs, scroll down to the parts, and you can see this is where I've previously input the data for this part. If you click on this button here, some trim options will appear. Now we'd like to apply trim to the left and right dimensions. No matter how you put in the length and width of the part, always consider the shape to be oriented to the length of the stock. That's how these dimensions should be input. So if we're assuming the shape is oriented to the length of the stock, it means that the two dimensions we're interested in are x1 and x2. So we can apply some trim, let's say 20 millimeters, to the left and right, reapply the calculation. And you can see that in the diagram, you now have these triangles on the left and right. And what these are indicating is that these two parts have been trimmed and they're no longer the original size. And the triangles also indicate the direction of the trim. So this is trim which has reduced the shape size. You can also increase the shape of the part. For example, if you'd like to sand or cut to a precise length and you'd like to leave some room for error. So open up inputs, let's enlarge this shape in the X dimension by 20 millimeters. Reapply the calculation, you can see now these shapes are larger, and again the triangles are indicating that these two dimensions have been enlarged. You can also trim the stock, for example, if you'd like to apply a nice clean finish to all the edges. And this is done in exactly the same way. Open up the inputs, show the trim on the stock, and let's just apply a 20 millimeter trim all the way around, reapply the calculation. You can see now we've got some cut lines that are indicating that the stock has been trimmed and the parts still maintain their trim within this. Trim is also shown on the exports. If you open up the exports, export layout as PDF, we can take a look at the PDF that's generated. And you can see that within the PDF, these dotted lines indicate that these two dimensions have been trimmed. And if you take a look at the table, you can see the trim dimensions as they were input back on the website.